Delmarva Today with Don Rush.
Well, Wacomico County budget is out. The city of Salisbury has delayed their fire and life safety fee. Construction continues on the Millsboro Police Station. And later in the show, we'll take a look at the famous big band jazz drummer, Chick Webb. Welcome to Delmarva Today. This is Don Rush. In our studio this afternoon is Greg Bassett, editor and general manager of the Salisbury Independent. And on the phone is Susan Canfor, reporter for Coastal Point and a contributor to Salisbury Independent. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Don.
Hello, Don.
So, Greg, I want to turn to you first. We got a budget out from Julie Giuliano, the county executive. What does it look like overall?
Yeah, a big spending increase, about 9% more year over year. What they are going to do with this budget, they're going to do some pay-go stuff. So some of the capital programs will be paid out of the reserve fund, which will save money certainly on the interest rates. Her budget stresses public safety and education. First Republican county executive to propose, initially an increase in education funding. It's beyond the maintenance of effort number, which is a state number. Enrollment's down a little bit in Wacomico, and the maintenance of effort number is based on enrollment. So the state is saying, you only need to fund it a little bit less, but they are maintaining that funding. A lot of that money is going to go into security issues to make sure the schools are still safe, but still a funding increase that was requested by the board, and county executive came through with it. Public safety being up is related a lot to the building that they're building for the sheriff's department, and they're trying to position themselves for a contract negotiation with the sheriff's office, which will be this year, and they're going to raise the starting salary for deputies to between $50,000 and $60,000, about $55,000 to start as a deputy in the Wacomico Sheriff's Office.
Any real surprises to this outside of maybe the increase, or is this pretty standard fare?
I think it's pretty standard fare. There's not a lot of controversy with this. She is giving the employees a 3% pay raise. That was a surprise to me because the salary study just went through. What we are seeing with municipalities now is it used to be, municipality was different than private sector because they offered such great benefits and time off, but now the private sector, in order to compete with municipalities and to retain employees, has matched all that stuff. So it's employment, counties, municipalities trying to hire people is much more difficult than it's been. So they're trying to make it more incentivized to get people to come to work for the county.
Also, City of Salisbury has postponed plans for a fire and life safety fee, $300, I guess, a year per resident. Got some pushback.
Yeah.
Enough to say, wait a minute, maybe not so much.
Yeah. I need to do more reporting to figure out exactly what everyone was thinking. So when this thing came down the pike, and this was an idea to raise about $4.5 million for the fire department and ambulance services by implementing a fee to each household of $300 per year for fire and ambulance services. And that would just provide the core services. It wouldn't, pay for if you have an ambulance comes to your house, you'll still be billed for that through the insurance and all that complicated stuff. But yeah, $300 per household, $50 per apartment. So it would affect, landlords as well as regular residents. Another fee for commercial properties. And the city kind of rolled this out like, hey, we're going to do this and, hope it's okay. And of course, as a reporter, I knew it wasn't going to be okay. They were supposed to have a news conference on Tuesday at one of the firehouses to answer questions about this thing. And they ended up abruptly canceling that news conference after people flooded the council chambers on Monday night, all in total opposition. I think of the 30 people or 35 people who spoke, I think I counted one or two who were in favor of it. Most people were very skeptical, but I think that the city's really mishandled this thing. They're not raising taxes, but they are raising the sewer fee, which they do pretty much in every budget year, and they're raising the trash fee. And those are all manageable, expected increases that are normal with history. But this fire fee is certainly dramatic. There are some expenses coming down the line. And what has happened here is they've taken, in recent years with COVID, this rescue money from the federal government. They've put that into their budget. Now the rescue money is going away. So they would either have to cut these emergency budgets or find the money somewhere else. And it's the hazard. We see this all the time when you have a federal grant that expires. How are you going to fund it after the grant expires? And that's what's happened here with this rescue money with the city.
I mean, we get, as looking at some of the comments from the city council members, I mean, Bjorn says a fire agreement with the county. Michelle Gregory says it's necessary. We have to look after our fire people. Fire interest on the one hand, complaints about perhaps having to moonlight, and yet we got this pushback from what sounds like taxpayers.
Yeah, one of the things a couple years ago, 7 years ago now, there was the fire services agreement between the county and the city. That's a very complicated thing, but what happens is the city provides fire protection for county residents that are not paying city taxes. They came to an agreement how much the county would pay the city for that coverage. It was one of those things that in touting the program, it looked like it was going to be a lot of money. When the rubber hit the road on that thing, it turned out that the county did not owe as much as the city thought that they were going to get. They're in the midst now of renegotiating that. But at the same time, it's brought up this whole debate again, whether the county should, give tax relief to the citizens of Salisbury's for the shared services that they have. So that debate has come up again. And so some people want to hang all of this on the county. But still, right now, Salisbury is about to accept delivery of a new fire truck, a new ladder truck, and I think it's like $2.5 million, which is pretty close to the amount of money that they would raise. Well, they're going to raise $4.5 million for the $300 a year fee. But having fire protection is a very expensive proposition, and they're seeing that firsthand.
Susan, I want to turn to you. We got a building of a police station there in Millsboro. Where are we with that?
In Millsboro, yes, work on the Millsboro's new 13,000 square foot police station. Coming along very nicely. It's a $9.3 million structure, and it's being built on West Railroad Avenue. That's right across the street from the very popular Dairy Queen in Millsboro. I talked to Police Chief Brian Calloway this week, and he told me the officers on his force who have outgrown the building they're in now on Main Street should be moving into the new building in December. For some time now, Chief Calloway has been talking about naming the new building for a prominent Millsboro resident, probably someone who's been a mayor or someone who's served on the council. But he won't say yet who that is. He said he wants to discuss it with the town council first and be sure the family of the person being honored is in agreement. He did say that watching the construction being done by Salisbury's Delmarva veteran builders is a dream come true. For years, he and the Millsboro Council have been talking about a new building, as the chief has worked very hard in the existing building to use every available space for cubicles and for storage and places to put ammunition and exercise equipment. He's done a great job, but they really have outgrown that building. And once this building is completed, this new one will have a conference room, a place for processing, an area for discussion if somebody comes in off the street to report a crime. Plus, there will be space for exercise equipment and a community room. There has been talk about a basketball court, but that will probably be added later, Don.
We also have, by the way, swearing in of the Ocean View Mayor, John Reddington. He's a second term, I guess it is, along with a new council member. What does that mean in terms of what we're looking at for Ocean View?
Second term, I don't think it'll mean anything. That council really, they operate on pretty smoothly. There's not really a lot of controversy there. They do a good job, and they're all usually on the same page, so to speak. He was sworn in, Mayor Reddington, John Reddington, was sworn in for a second 3-year term of office this week. That mayor was reelected by a 175 to 88 vote margin, and the election was April 8th. Also elected was a new councilman, somebody brand new to the council, Joseph J. Tominski, and he is succeeding outgoing councilman Tom Malley, representing District 3 at Ocean View. Both of them were sworn in by the town attorney, Veronica Faust. The mayor has said he will continue to work for the good of the town. Ocean View is growing like crazy. Property is being annexed in. A lot of developers are asking to have property annexed into town so they can build, mostly residential developments. More and more activities are planned in Ocean View. It's just a very nice little town. It's only about a mile long from one end to the other, but there's so much activity there, and everybody seems to just love Ocean View. There's a new event there, in fact, on May 6th. Ocean View will present Spring Fling. It's a brand new event. It's open to the public and free of charge, and it will be at John West Park from 1 until 4 p.m. on May 6th. The word is Mr. E. Bunny will be there to pose for pictures, Don.
Greg, I want to turn to you. We got a bit of a flap here. The son of Billy Graham is coming to Salisbury, at least planned, and is turned into a bit of a kerfuffle when it comes to the city role in all of this and the fact that Graham's going to be here at all.
Kerfuffle, Don. It's a full-out meltdown going on. It's so funny. Salisbury City Council meetings for years were, they used to call them the Monday night fights because people would be duking it out, in the room. And lately, in the last decade or so, it's been very quiet in there and very refined in terms of the arguments. And this last Monday, between the fire fee, the $300 fire fee, and this dispute about Franklin Graham coming to town, you saw the council members just sort of sitting there with these glazed looks on their faces. They couldn't believe what they were in for. So the public was there with very different points of view on this thing. So as you said, Franklin Graham coming to town on Thursday, May 4th, for his God Loves You Tidewater Tour, a series of different events that he's having around the East Coast. It's been known for a while. So the city, of course, they're just trying to get people downtown. So they were promoting this event on their Facebook page. People in different groups, mostly the local flag group, was upset because Franklin Graham has said some very bad things about gay marriage. He has supported the conspiracy theories with President Trump in the election. He's called Mormons a cult, and he has called for basically the abolishment of Muslims as a hate group, and that certainly conflicts with the all are equal here theme that Salisbury tries to promote. So the city has decided to stop promoting the event. It's going to be on the corner of East Carroll and Division Street, where the folk festival stage is. That property is owned by Tidal Health. So apparently, I'm trying to find out for sure, they will lease that property to the group that's sponsoring the event, the promotional company that's doing that. And then the city has the facilities with the stage and all that. I don't know who owns that stuff exactly yet, but that's going to be set up on Thursday for this big event. The event will go on. There's no way that they can stop the event from happening because it's all set. And the flag group has actually said that we agree that the event should happen. We're just disappointed in the city's role. Some city council members said that they wish they had known the event was coming because they would have been very much opposed to it. There's some blame that a lot of this decision-making was from the previous administration with Mayor Day and City Administrator Julie Glantz, and it's just one of those things that's happening now. But huge controversy, lots of things said in defensive First Amendment speech, a lot of things said in terms of hate speech, a lot of controversy about this event.
Do we expect any kind of protest at this point, or do we know from the PFLAG people?
No, I think the PFLAG people, their point, the last point that I heard was that they support the free speech. They're sorry for the city's role in it. There might be some minor protests, but I don't think there's going to be a big protest on their part. But the protest goes both ways. There's a lot of anger about anyone who would oppose this so-called Christian event. Because that also is a free speech issue.
We're speaking with Greg Bassett, editor and general manager of the Salisbury Independent, and on the phone with us has been Susan Canfor, reporter for Coastal Point and a contributor to Salisbury Independent. Appreciate you both of you stopping by and chatting with us.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Don.
You're listening to Delmarva Today. This is Don Rush.
Delmarva Today with Don Rush.